Hot?
Yeah. Hot as Hades.
Yeah. Welcome back. We're back up here today. Got a list of things to do. We revamped our list a little bit, and hopefully by the end of the weekend, there will be 2 things left on the list. Let's show you what we got going on today. So we got a little issue here with this pressure gauge that I set up. I pulled the 15-pound pressure gauge that was in here and put a 100-pound gauge, but unfortunately, it looks like I didn't get an airtight seal and it's bubbling up. In the last 5 days since I've been here, this thing has lost about 40 pounds of pressure. I had it set for 80. It's sitting at about 43 now. So it's not doing terrible, but I certainly don't want water dripping out onto the floor. So we're gonna take that out, fix that, and make sure it's holding where it is, and if not, we're gonna track it down. All right. I don't see any bubbles this time.
How much is a sheet of drywall?
$13, I think, is what it was. It may have gone up, I don't know. All right there, fancy girl. Let's do this. Hey, I don't know what's getting ready to happen. I don't know what you got going on over there. That's a lot of dust. Whew. Come over here and hold this.
What?
You gotta keep your hands in.
I know.
This needs to be a little bit bigger, unfortunately. A little cleaner. Yep. So I'm gonna foam it. Basically, I'm gonna put a ring of foam around it like this. That way, it may start to come out, but we can just cut it away and paint over it.
Okay.
But I want it to seal around the tube, and the back of that just fills the void.
Okay.
Is that all the way?
Yeah.
All right. We're just gonna turn it so that it's facing up.
Okay.
And we're gonna right there.
Okay.
All right, finished.
How's the screw?
How's that sitting there? Oh, that's really nice.
Are you happy about that?
You have no idea. There would, yeah,
You've been worried about this?
because you can get a 6-inch or you can get a 4-inch piece of pipe. They don't make like random size threaded pipe, so I was working a bunch of different things to try and figure out how to make this the right size. Since you want to mock me on being happy about that, you get to design the next one. I'd lower it because there's metal plate behind it.
Oh, and you forgot about that.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Couldn't get it through there. Does that look straight?
Yeah, it's good.
go.
Nice.
How about 18 inches up?
Yeah, that's good.
Just like I said. Does it fit? I gotta carve the edges out here.
It looks so good though.
Well, I spent a lot of time standing in the hardware store in the aisle trying to figure out how to piece this all together, and I'm really pleased with the way these two have come out. And that's the one on the inside. We'll straighten that cable up with a couple of straps. I'm going to run another cable over here to the side all the way down and do a quick curve right to it, and that should be perfect. It's fastened securely.
I'm gonna cover that up.
Nice. I like that. Very nice. Pin connections. Lights. PEX pressure test. Well, welcome back. I am by myself today. Jafana had to go out of town. We were up here yesterday working on the electric. We got the electric pole for the back light and for the outlet that goes in the back porch. Now, I need to have an electric line that runs out to feed one of my AC units that's going to be sitting right over here. And that's the big one that does this main room. So it uses 6-gauge wire, and that's some big honking wire. I've got a plan. There we are. Ain't pretty, but it's there. It's not too bad. All right, I've gotten the hole all the way through. I've got my piece here. And what I've done is I've taken a piece of Schedule 80 PVC. At first, I was going to use an 8-inch pipe, black iron pipe, till I realized that on the inside of it, where they welded it together, there's a sharp slag line, and that might cut my wire. So I'm certainly not going to do that. The stuff that they sell to go into it, they only have in the store that I was at up to 6 inches. That's not long enough to go through these walls. So I took a piece of Schedule 80, I thinned it down a little bit on the outsides, I threaded it, it works out really nicely. I've got it sized up properly for this. The only issue I'm going to run into is Jafana's not here to help me out. And when I go into the inside and start turning this thing, it's going to start spinning. So I might try the stick right here. Before I do that, I'm going to want to spray some foam in here. Once you spray the foam, you're pretty much committed. So I think I'm gonna do a dry run without the foam first, just to make sure I can do it. Then I'm gonna take it back off, do it again. Now, I've got the stick in, that'll work. So I'm gonna take this, put this in here, right? Kind of wedge it so it won't fall out. When I get on the inside and start turning it, it'll turn up to about here. All I have to do is end up with it aimed in that direction, because I'm gonna turn the whole apparatus that way. Once I foam it, that foam is going to set up on there like glue. I'll just make sure it's pointed in the right direction, and we should be good to go. Well, it's a great idea, except it doesn't work from the inside. Because in the inside, I can't turn this thing because I don't have space to turn it. So what I'm going to do is switch these out. I don't know if I can make this work. I need this thing to kind of stay here pushing enough for me to push against it, and it's not gonna. Come on, man, there's gotta be a way.
Since I didn't have somebody to stand on the inside holding the piece, I rigged something up so I could pull it from the other side of the wall, and that way I could get the threads all lined up, get the two pieces put together.
Just fit. It will fit. If I get it in here. Okay, I have a piece of Aquatight or Watertight, or they have a couple different names. I have seen online where you can get different colors of this Aquatight. Ideally, I would have white because the house is white. But in order to get that, that is a special order, and I don't have time to wait because I got things to do. And it would cost a fair bit more. I gave it a good twist and it seated it flatter in there. Now you get that in there, you want to push this from compression. That's going to squeeze against this and the metal housing. You bring this nut in. Of course, you're going to be able to get the thing to turn. Let's try this. Just wedge that screwdriver in there enough to get it to lift so I can work this nut. There we go. That works. All right, I got my wire here. And this is my largest air conditioner that's gonna go out here. So it's gonna take number 6 wire. I thought that was kind of big. Basically what it says is you can use number 8, but it's preferable to use number 6. Now, I'd be willing to bet you that when you hire somebody to come do it, they use number 8 for a number of reasons. First one probably being it's just easier to work with. I'm hoping, this stuff is really slippery. I'm hoping it'll slide through here well. I know that the straighter it is when I put it in there, with less waves and kinks, the easier it's going to be. They had black and they had green. They didn't have white and they didn't have red. So I got 2 lines of black and I got 1 line of green for my ground. I think I'm gonna lay it out inside the house so it doesn't get too hot, because when it gets hot, it gets really soft. I want it to stay a little firm. I've only got about 10 more feet and I'll be there. so close to the end I can actually see the wire when I look down at the conduit. All right, it's out. Woohoo! Little piece done. Now I gotta do some additional prep work. I'm getting ready to start strapping that conduit up to the wall. Metal straps would probably rust over time. And I want to tuck it up against the top as much as I can. And the only one-hole straps I could find were metal. So I found these and turned them into these. Real quick. One-hole strap. They're pretty rigid, so I think they'll probably be just fine. The thing you better remember though is when you're doing that, this blade gets hot. I have a funny looking little skinny long blister on the side of my thumb from laying this blade up against my thumb when I was getting ready to cut after I'd done about 5 or 6 of them. Ouch. That hurts. Trying to leave the camera over here in the shade because it's 97 degrees right now, and I put that camera out there, it's gonna overheat real fast, kind of like I am. I'm starting to overheat a little bit, but I've got the disconnect box hooked up to that conduit. I pulled the cable back, so I was trying to avoid cutting it. I actually think I cut off like just a little bit of one of the cables, but they're all three sitting right there. I'm getting ready to push them back out so I can make the connection and fasten it to the side of the house. I'm gonna try to put the camera over here, and I'm hoping that the sun doesn't beat it down so bad that it turns off. Like that. Put the other one in. Very nice. We're getting started. I guess I better find out what's got the dog upset. Come on. I'm not getting as much done today as I hoped I would. I can't really blame it on the sun. I mean, that has slowed me down a bit. Come on. I just haven't been particularly fast. You need to lay down and rest. Now, once again, if you're not comfortable doing this kind of thing, don't do it. Your two outer lines here are for your line coming in. Your inner lines are for your load going out. Load being the machine that you're going to be charging, which is an air conditioner. These are both black because they're both electrified, and it doesn't really matter which side you put on it because you're doing the same thing on the other side. You're putting two lines on it. Fortunately, this is the way this works. I got a little bit of play, so I'm going to start small, cut it right here, and I could always pull some more out if I had to. Alright, so that needs to come up into there, so I need to cut that to about there, about where my fingernail is. There we go. Perfection. That's beautiful. Actually easy to make this angle, but I'm getting it. There we go. There we are. Got that one. Now I'm gonna do the ground first, just because once I get this thing up here, I don't really want to have to fight to get it behind. The ground sits back a little bit. Choking on my words here. Now, as I expected, the heat killed the camera when I was halfway done, but we've got this finished. I'm just using this because I don't have anything to clamp it shut right now. That is all hooked up. I can tell you I don't like this thing already. Yeah. Just occurred to me that I didn't put any sunscreen on today. And I've been out here in this stuff for a couple hours, so probably gonna be hurting tomorrow.
Beautiful.
Nice. Now, I'm gonna go inside to a chilly 80 degrees. And it feels fantastic in here. What I need to do is run this conduit straight over that way to the other side of that wall, which is where my panel is. Told your fan this wall is going to be a little bit busy, and it is, but that is pretty darn good. When she walks in here and it's nice and cold in the summertime, that'll be perfect. Well, I ran this conduit into the mechanical room so that I knew exactly how much I needed of it and where it had to go. I've got it, had it set up exactly where it's going to enter the panel, and I've got it marked. Well, I had it marked. Here we go, right here. Boom. Now, I don't have a fancy tool like I do for the small BX cable, but I should be able to just take that Sawzall, lay it right across here like that, cut about 2 of them ribs and separate them, and it should come right off. At least that's what I think. Well, it'll shake your hand off, that's for sure. Nope. I can probably finish it with my snips, and that is such a ragged, ugly cut. I'm not going to keep that anyway. So if I can just get this separated, I'll be able to trim some off. Pretty good. Nice cut. I pulled that conduit back so that I could get the wires through a little bit easier. The wires are through it all. I'm getting ready to tape up the ends of them just a little bit to make it easier to pull them together across here. I'm not going to put them in the box tonight just because that heat took it out of me. I'm a little tired. So, but I will have them in place where they need to be. So before I go, just a quick recap on what I did today. I've got a little snake in this thing right here, but I left a little bit of play. I actually should have left a little bit more play because I have to hop across a 5-inch conduit that's going to have the line set that comes from that direction and one that comes from that direction. So when they meet in the middle, I got to hop over one of them. They're going to come down next to it. AC is going to be right here. Jafan is going to move that plant for me this weekend, and I think it looks pretty good. I adjusted this twice where it's got a little sag to it, but I think that's just the shape that it took being in a spool for so long. Hopefully that'll open up and won't have to do anything about that. I'll probably make a little adjustment here just to get it a little straighter. As I said, that wall is a little busy, but it is what it is. You got to have power outside. I think everything looks good on it. And finally, I've got the line pulled in, tacked to the wall. It's going to come in the side. I was going to have it come a little lower and come in right here, but that is a 1/2 inch, and the first 3/4 inch is up here. So I'm going to have to fish those cables behind the other cables that are already in there, bring them down and hit them up on a 45 amp breaker. Well, I put in 6 hours today. That's gonna have to be enough. I was planning on staying a little bit later, but the sun took it out of me. I'm gonna go get some food. I wanted to get 3 things done today. Unfortunately, I got 1, but it was a big one and I'm pretty pleased with it. I like the way it turned out. I'm gonna go ahead and mark that electric line for back of house. AC electric line for back of house. That is off the list now. That's nice. Of course, we keep adding things as we're taking things off, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 things on the list. I'll be back tomorrow. Looks like Apollo wants me to throw the ball one more time before we leave. Guys, that's all I've got in me for this weekend. Thanks for watching. Come on back and check us out next time. Hit that like button on your way out too. We'll be here. That's kind of right at you. You might want to move back here.